Well, good evening, everyone. It looks like a packed room. I'm Bob Davidson, co-founder of the Davidson Institute, along with my wife, Jan, a nonprofit organization dedicated to recognizing, nurturing, and supporting profoundly intelligent young people. And you're going to find out just how profoundly intelligent they really are. So welcome to the 4th Annual Davidson Fellows Award ceremony and reception. Here in the largest library in the world, where the accumulated knowledge and accomplishments of our global society are stored and made available for use, here where the universal collection of wisdom and creativity is sustained for the preservation of future generations, we gather to recognize and celebrate those who contribute to advancing mankind's knowledge and shape all of our future. I'd like to thank all of you for being here tonight and to celebrate the 2004 Davidson Fellow recipients, whom we have in front of us here, and to help us recognize the extraordinary achievements of these exceptional young people. Thank you for our co-sponsors at tonight's reception. I don't think they could make it because of other commitments and their lives that come up at the last minute. But again this year, we have two co-sponsors, the same, Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa and Senator Harry Reid of our home state, Nevada. I'd like to acknowledge several individuals who are fortunate to be here tonight and for us to have here tonight. We have some past Davidson Fellows here. Joshua Feldman, who's in that sea out there someplace. Joshua's a very interesting young man because he has been both a Davidson Young Scholar. We never disclose the privacy or details of Davidson Young Scholars, but since he's also a Davidson Fellow, he's been made public. And we also have Pallavi Mahindra, who was a Davidson Young Fellow last year, and she's fairly local to the area, and we're certainly glad to have both of them here. We have a giant in the field of gifted education, Dr. Julian Stanley, founder of the Center for Talented Youth at Johns Hopkins University with us, and his wife. We have Dr. Ray Simon, Assistant Secretary of the Office of Elementary and Secondary Education of the U.S. Department of Education, and we're happy to have Ray with us tonight. We have Ms. Susan Patrick, Director of the Office of Education Technology of the U.S. Department of Education. And we have some friends from Reno. We have the President of the University of Nevada, Dr. John Lilly, who's with us tonight, and his son Benjamin. And we have the official printer of the United States of America, Bruce James, and his wife Nora, also with us tonight. He prints everything but the money. They don't trust him with the money. Now for the main event of the evening, I'm going to ask our co-founder and my wife Jan to join me in presenting the 2004 Davidson Fellows Awards. Jan?
Thank you, Bob. The Davidson Fellows were established 5 years ago to recognize the extraordinary achievements of young people while encouraging them to make a positive contribution to society. And this year we are recognizing 4 Davidson Fellow laureates who will be receiving $50,000 scholarships. We're recognizing 11 Davidson Fellows, 7 of whom will be receiving $25,000 scholarships, and 5 of whom will be receiving $10,000 scholarships. These students have demonstrated a significant achievement in science, mathematics, technology, and the humanities. And in the humanities, it's philosophy, literature, or music. The selections were all made by independent teams of judges with expertise in the specific subject areas of each individual project. And tonight we will begin by honoring this year's Davidson Fellows who are each receiving a $10,000 scholarship, starting with Ann Chi, a 17-year-old young woman from my home state, Terre Haute, Indiana, where I grew up. And Ann, please come up and tell us about your Davidson Fellows Science Project.
Thank you. 4 years ago, when my AP chemistry teacher, who's out there somewhere, introduced me to computational chemistry, I could not have imagined that that was the beginning of a journey that has allowed me to delve into cutting-edge research, tour the country, meet amazing scientists, and bring me here as a Davidson Fellow. My project, entitled H2 and C2H4 Elimination Pathways in the Y plus C2H6 Reaction, applies the methods of computational chemistry to model and analyze a fundamental reaction that may ultimately impact the transition metal catalyst and hydrocarbon industries. When describing the results of my project, I like to use the analogy of molecules being lazy hikers that require motivation to reach a mountain peak. In chemistry speak, this lazy molecule requires energy in the form of heat to reach a high-energy transition state. This analogy describes me as well. I am very much like a molecule. I am the product of my parents' upbringing. I am sometimes very lazy. And my parents, teachers, and mentors' support and encouragement have instilled in me a passion and motivation. And this motivation has allowed me to reach this high-energy pinnacle where I now stand. A transition state, so to speak, that leads from grade school to Harvard. Thank you for your support and encouragement, and thank you to the Davidson Institute for this recognition and support of my studies in science and my goals in higher education.
Right here now, folks. Right here, please.
Okay, now from the field of music, we have Ilya Filshinsky, a young 17-year-old fellow from Westerville, Ohio. Ilya? Okay. Tell us about your music portfolio.
Thank you. I have studied piano since I was 6 years old. For a long time, my dream has been to become a professional pianist. My project, entitled A Step Toward My Dream, truly is a step towards this long-time dream. I memorized, prepared, and performed a solo piano concert, worthy of a concert in a professional setting. My repertoire also needed to be suitable for auditions at conservatories. Further, I wanted a program that continued my growth as a musician and pianist and was technically demanding and musically challenging. At the end of summer of 2003, I chose particular pieces that span musical periods and contrasting styles, including pieces composed by Bach, Beethoven, Chopin, Liszt, and Prokofiev. I studied through the fall to polish my technique and musicality. I played my program as an Ayrton Artist Series concert at the Ohio University Southern Campus Rotunda on January 24, 2004. As I continue my studies at Juilliard, I am thankful that the Davidson Fellows Scholarship is helping to support my studies as I continue toward my dream. Thank you for this honor and your support.
Give a smile this way now, folks. Look this way now. And again.
Thank you, Lee, or Ilya. Lee Hutner is a 16-year-old young man from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Lee, tell us, please, about your philosophical portfolio.
Thank you. As cliche as quoting Einstein may be, I would nevertheless like to start by quoting one of the great physicists and one of the most brilliant philosophers of the 20th century, Albert Einstein said, "All religions, arts, and sciences are branches of the same tree." All these aspirations are directed toward ennobling a man's life, lifting it from the sphere of mere physical existence, and leading the individual towards freedom. While I was researching and writing my project, The Religio-Spiritual Impulse and Its Biological Inherence in Humans, I was not only delving into the singular branch of philosophy, but I was also exploring other branches of the same tree: religion, neurology, endocrinology, sociology, evolutionary biology, and evolutionary anthropology. Certain distinct constituents of our brain serve to give our world the significance and unity that are often mystically portrayed in the religious scriptures of mankind. Innate, instinctive religious behavior is a result of an evolutionary principle necessary for our basic survival. The ultimate outcome of my research was that I developed a program designed to harness our innate biological openness to spiritual practices. I hope my project inspires the scientific, religious, philosophic, and even artistic communities of the world, and this award further propels me toward my ultimate goal of reconciling the misunderstanding between science, religion, and philosophy, and displaying that we all have much more to learn from one another than we may think. I would like to thank the Davidson Institute for this award and the opportunity to pursue this ultimate goal.
Two frames now, folks. And look to me now. Thank you.
Anna Katrina Shedletsky is a 17-year-old young woman from Brewster, New York, my home state. Anna Katrina, please come up and tell us about your science project.
Thank you. It sounds innocent enough, a discussion over a turkey dinner with family friends, but that night the topic was the spread of disease on cruise ships. I had been struggling to find a topic for my Foundations of Research class for 2 years, but this particular discussion left me with some intriguing epidemiological questions, from which my research, Epidemic Outcomes as a Function of Network Topography, originated. Over the next 2 years, I developed a computer model that took into account network connectivity to explore how disease spread through populations of different structures with the aim of devising new ways to combat epidemics. Traditionally, epidemics are contained through vaccination and quarantine, but I discovered that the structure of a population itself played an important role in an epidemic's behavior. This allowed me to recognize that one solution to an epidemic in a particular town or city might not be the best solution in all towns and cities, and enabled me to create population-specific strategies to combat epidemics. I believe that this is a critical area of research, and I would like to thank the Davidson Institute for their help in continuing my studies and my research at Stanford University.
That's good, folks. 2 times now.
Tonight's final $10,000 recipient is Stephanie C., who is a young woman, a 17-year-old young woman from Los Angeles, Alhambra to be exact. Stephanie, please tell us about your science project.
Thank you. My submission in the science field of genetic epidemiology and preventive medicine is entitled SNP Detection of a 410 base pair region of the MTRR promoter in colorectal adenoma patients. This research involves studying a particular gene that is hypothesized to be related to colorectal cancer, which is the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States. Because of the biochemical process the MTRR gene is involved in, researchers hypothesize that defects in this gene may have some inverse role in colorectal cancer risk. By studying this particular gene, scientists hope to isolate potential mutations that, if found to be associated with colorectal cancer risk, will help us understand this gene as well as colorectal cancer. This project is aimed towards preventive measures of colorectal cancer to help us diagnose higher risk people before the cancer develops in order to provide more effective treatment. My research alongside talented and intelligent researchers has made me realize that science is a continuing and ongoing learning process. With this award from the Davidson Institute, I plan to continue my study of the biological sciences at the University of California, Irvine. Thank you for the opportunity to further my education.
Looks good, folks. 2 frames.
Stephanie, when she met with us today, met with us with a group of musicians, she also plays the violin and the piano quite well, so she could do all the musician talk as well as her science talk. Very impressive.
Speaking of musicians, our first $25,000 Davidson Fellow awardee is Athena Adamopoulos, a 17-year-old young woman from New York City. Athena, please come and tell us about your music portfolio.
Thank you. My submission in the category of music includes 5 original compositions, 2 of which are orchestral. 1 is a solo work, and 2 are chamber music. One of them was played by the Plymouth Philharmonic recently, and the first submission was played by Yo-Yo Ma and Christopher O'Reilly on the radio. I don't know how it happened either. So this portfolio demonstrates my evolution as a musician and as a composer in the past 2 years through the study of harmony, counterpoint, orchestration. Through the years, my perception of the audience's reaction to music has evolved. And it's become evident that it's extremely important to write music that'll become a part of the composer's listening experience. And therefore bring music into the lives of others by writing music that will stay with them. I'd like to thank Andrew Thomas and Herbert Stessen, who have been my teachers at Juilliard for the past 4 years, and Manhattan Silverman, who I studied piano with at Manhattan School of Music. And this semester, helped by the Davidson Institute, I am attending Harvard to continue my studies in music and composition.
Boris Alexeyev is a 17-year-old young man from Athens, Georgia, who is our only representative with the Mathematics Project. So, Boris, come and tell us about your mathematics project.
Thank you, Jan. During an introductory course in theoretical computer science at the University of Georgia, I came across an interesting problem in the theory of automata, which is the mathematical basis for the field of pattern matching. In my project, Minimal Space DFAs for Testing Divisibility, I solved this problem, which is an unsolved generalization of a problem that appears in many computer science textbooks. Essentially, in my work, what I determined was the easiest way to test divisibility by number using automata. Minimization of automata can help in computer science by allowing programs to use less memory and to operate more quickly. Outside of computer science, automata have applications in fields as varied as DNA research and image recognition. I'm now continuing my studies as a freshman at MIT, where I'm pursuing a double major in mathematics and computer science. I'm very happy to receive this award from the Davidson Institute. Thank you very much. I'd also like to thank the audience for coming and supporting the Davidson Institute, which in turn supports these wonderful people here. Thank you.
Well, here's a name, an easy name to pronounce. I guess I could be president if I can pronounce this one. From our home state and almost our hometown, Reno, Nevada, comes Molly Carr, a 17-year-old young woman who also has a music portfolio she's going to tell us about. Molly?
Thank you. My project, entitled Music, Heaven Breaking In on Us, was a performance of several pieces chosen from the standard viola repertoire. In this performance, I kept a single goal in mind. I desired to wholly develop the stylistic aspects of each piece in order to perform both intelligently, with the phrasing and character it seems the composers intended to convey, and convincingly, with the passion that each composer had for his work. This may sound rather dry and calculated, but as I have heard it said, great art brings together both the heart and the mind. And to those who question how a musical performance could help in making the world a better place in which to live, I will admit that music is an abstract art form, both intangible and invisible. But my answer lies in my belief that I can touch people's hearts with my music. I am convinced that God gave me a gift, a talent, so that through me he can minister to people. For music can break through and shake people from their self-absorbed, chaotic, and frequently unsatisfying lives, soften their hearts, and enable them to feel the best aspects of being human. My desire is to become a concert violist and to share my gift with others. I am truly grateful to the Davidson Institute, whose scholarship gift will help finance my future musical training at a conservatory.
Just right for this way now. You folks.
Matthew Goldstein is a young man from Denmark, New York, who had a technology project, and he's going to come up and tell us about that. And Matthew is still in high school, right?
That's correct. Thank you. My project in the field of technology is Dormanbot, a tool that adds features to instant messaging. While instant messaging is rapidly developing, AOL's instant messenger has one major limitation. In order to send a message to another user, that other user must have his or her computer turned on and be signed in. Dormanbot solves this problem by allowing one user to leave a message for another user that is delivered when that other user is online, performing the same service for instant messaging as an answering machine does for the telephone. This system is completely automatic, sending a confirmation message once the delivered message has been read. Dormanbot is presently a fully functioning system, relaying thousands of messages per day. The system has been working well for 2 years, and I'm constantly working to refine it. In addition to adding features, the system that Dormanbot is running on, AOL's instant messaging network, is constantly changing, requiring me to make frequent updates to my system. I hope to continue learning through developing online tools for as long as instant messaging remains in use. And while I'm exploring colleges this year, this scholarship from the Davidson Institute will help me to have greater choice and opportunity. Thank you.
Matthew's grandparents and his grandmother on his mother's side all were here from New York to see him win this award. He just saw a problem and solved it. Amazing.
Okay. Harish Kandrika is a 17-year-old young man from La Jolla, California. Harish, please tell us about your fellow's Astrophysics Project.
Thank you. My project is analysis of X-rays from the core of radio galaxy Centaurus A. By definition, no light can escape from a black hole, therefore astronomers cannot see a black hole directly. However, they can infer its existence through the immense gravitational effect that a black hole has on its surroundings. So, as matter falls towards a black hole, it creates an accretion disk with attendant copious emission of radiation. And so to look for evidence of accreting matter, I studied high-energy radiations from our nearest radio galaxy, Centaurus A, using data obtained by NASA's X-ray Timing Explorer, as well as scripts that NASA provided for me, as well as the ones that I developed. And so through my analysis, I obtained a continuum spectrum of radiations that proves, that provides strong evidence for matter accretion by a supermassive black hole. Currently, I'm a freshman at Berkeley, where I plan to major in astrophysics. And my career goal is to be a space science researcher because I believe the field is very challenging, and I also believe that astronomers tackle the most fundamental questions of our existence. And so understanding the universe will therefore give us a better understanding of how precious our environment is and help us appreciate and protect life in all forms. And I'd like to take this opportunity to thank my mentor, Dr. Richard Rothschild, who's standing in the back over there, at the Center for Astrophysics and Space Sciences at UCSD, for allowing me to work in his lab for 3 years and for his invaluable guidance. And I'd also like to thank NASA for their support, and of course my parents for their unfailing encouragement. And of course, I'm very grateful to the Davidson Institute for this award, and I'm very honored to be among such talented students. Thanks.
Looks good. Tilt that backwards a little. That's good. Nice smile. There he goes. Turn on the smile.
Natasha Sonova is a 17-year-old young woman from Huntington Valley, Pennsylvania, who put together a literature portfolio that she's going to tell us about now. Natasha?
Thank you. Since brevity is the soul of wit, I shall for once be brief. My literature project, entitled The Renaissance, but fictional of voracious change, is a portfolio of writing that explores life in the 15th and 16th centuries. This portfolio includes a variety of writing that combines historical fact with fictional characters. The genres that I explore in this portfolio include a novel excerpt, a nonfiction essay, a short story, and a selection of poetry. Through my writing, I work to educate readers and to provide parallels between history and our modern world. With this scholarship from the Davidson Institute, I hope to attend a university in the United Kingdom and study English literature. In the future, I would like to work in publishing or journalism and hopefully become a published author. Thank you again for your help and support.
Take that and maybe throw that script on the floor. There you go. That's good. 2 times now. Nice smile. Thank you.
There's no doubt in anyone's mind that Natasha will be a published author.
April Wang is a 17-year-old young woman from Cincinnati, Ohio. April, please come and tell us about your Fellows Literature portfolio.
My literature project, Who Am I, is a portfolio with a single theme. Let nothing stop you from finding your individuality and doing what you want to do, no matter how bizarre anybody else thinks it is. This message can be found in doing something as simple as rolling down a hill or yelling like Tarzan if it makes you feel good. Or it could also mean being nice to that person who all your friends make fun of. I know this is a really trite message, but I really do believe that this could make a huge difference in our lives. My portfolio delivers this message through various genres, short and long fiction, poetry, and nonfiction, including journalistic writing. In the near future, I intend on enjoying every bit of my senior year with all of its perks: prom, after prom, senior picnic, and seniority in general. I am currently going through the college search process, and the scholarship will definitely be helpful. My ultimate dream is to publish a bestseller, so if you ever see a book with my name on it, buy it. Thanks.
Good. To me now.
4 of tonight's recipients will be recognized as Davidson Fellow Laureates. a title accompanied by a $50,000 scholarship. Nicole Ali is a 17-year-old young woman from St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm used to the airport. Spent a lot of time in that airport. Nicole, please tell us about your science project.
Thank you. Before I forget, I'm going to give a really, really, really big thank you to my mom and dad, Dr. Mahfouza and Dr. Zaki Ali, who are right there up front. Hi. Okay. Yep. Stem cell research. This simple phrase conjures images of miracle cures, social controversies, and social stigmas. As a 10th grader, I was really fascinated by some of the research being done at the University of Minnesota Stem Cell Institute under the direction of Dr. Catherine Verfai. When I received a research grant from the Minnesota Academy of Sciences, I immediately wrote to Dr. Verfai and said, "Can I please work in your lab?" I began doing research on umbilical cord blood cells called hematopoietic stem cells during the spring of 2002. Cells capable of forming all the different components of our blood and immune system. The goal of my work is how to grow these hematopoietic stem cells outside the human body to help advance research for the treatment of blood disorders like leukemia. So I like to tell people, I'm curing cancer. In my project, twisted gastrulation and cordon can aid primitive human hematopoietic cell expansion ex vivo, another mouthful. I described how two proteins, twisted gastrulation and cordon, can work together to grow hematopoietic stem cells. I also developed statistical software for more efficient analysis of data related to my research. Currently, I'm testing the cells that I've grown for their stem cellness by transplanting them into immunodeficient mice. Though the mice are back in Minnesota awaiting my analysis, I'm spending this school year in Massachusetts as a freshman at Harvard, thanks to the generous scholarship from the Davidson Institute. So I'd like to thank the Davidson Institute once again for honoring me as a Davidson Fellow Laureate. This entire experience has been absolutely amazing. Thank you.
That looks good, but a few times. Oops, come in there. Got you.
Jerry Guo is a 17-year-old young man from Greer, South Carolina. Jerry, please come up and tell us about your fellow's technology project.
Thank you, and good evening. Now, who liked the spam here tonight? Well, actually, not the canned meat, but the junky meal type. Not many, which is why I've spent the last few years on my project entitled The Development of Advanced Bayesian Statistical Spam Filter. This computer science research project approaches the urgent and annoying problem of unwanted email from a fresh and novel angle. Unlike current one-size-fits-all filters that can cause messages to be rerouted away from your inbox into the trash can, the system actually learns and personalizes itself to each particular user through artificial intelligence and statistical techniques. As a result, the spam filter borders on human accuracy and won't accidentally delete that important memo or email. Additionally, the research that I conducted for this project opens a door for a new generation of adaptive smart filters. I would sincerely like to thank the Davidson Institute and people like you for the courage to support and celebrate the achievements of teenagers like me. The scholarship will allow me to continue my research and education at a prestigious and probably expensive university. Thank you once again.
Jerry's a senior now. He said hopefully he'll graduate, so if he doesn't spend too much time on his computer. Rachel Naomi Kudo is a 17-year-old young woman from Northbrook, Illinois. Rachel is going to tell us about her music portfolio.
Thank you. I'm currently a senior at Glenbrook North High School, and I've been playing the piano since the age of 4. Likewise, my fellows here, I realized early in my life that piano was something I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and that my music reaches people in ways that words cannot. In my portfolio, for the love of music, I performed classic works by master composers such as Bach, Haydn, Chopin, and Liszt. I chose these particular composers so that I could demonstrate my technical facility and also use my imagination so that I could convey my personal impression of the composer's true messages. After high school, I would hope to study at a major conservatory, such as the Juilliard School or the Curtis Institute of Music. And with this opportunity, I would like to thank 3 people. First of all, my mentor, Mr. Emilio Del Rosario, who isn't here, but he has stuck with me for 12 years. Second, my family, who has sacrificed and supported me throughout my life. And lastly, to the Davidsons, which this award will truly help me pursue my goals of becoming a pianist and chamber musician. Thank you.
Chuyu Wong is a 17-year-old young woman from East Lansing, Michigan. Chuyu, please come up and tell us about your science project.
Thank you and good evening. I would like to thank the Davidson Institute for presenting me with this marvelous opportunity to attend a gathering of such talented and caring people. It has been a tremendous pleasure not only sightseeing around Washington, D.C., escaping college for a brief few days, but especially meeting everyone associated with the Davidson Institute and this award ceremony. My research project, entitled Statistical Mechanics of DNA Bending, qualifies as a work in the emerging field of biophysics. By means of theoretical derivation, I developed an improved equation to determine the stiffness of DNA under a variety of cell conditions. In the cell, DNA bends to varying degrees in response to an array of factors. The stiffness and bending characteristics of DNA are inherently linked to DNA's capability to sort out and utilize genomic code in the production of proteins. Further research on this topic may eventually lend scientists experimental control over the construction of desired proteins and the omission of damaging ones. I am currently a freshman at Harvard and will use the gracious scholarship from the Davidson Institute toward my education. In the future, I hope to earn degrees in biophysics and medicine and to continue pursuing my passion for scientific research. In conclusion, I congratulate all of the Davidson Fellows. May you all continue on the path of discovery, innovation, and success.
Well, our fellows have all been awarded their awards, and a very special day for Bob and I is drawing to a close. We had the privilege of spending our entire day with these young folks, and it is one of our most memorable days this year. But these kids, I don't want to take anything away from these young people because their achievements are great, but this just didn't happen. Their parents all, because I spent some time with the parents today also, and the parents also made significant sacrifices to nurture them. They had mentors that made sacrifices for them. I heard of a 14-year-old young lady who got access to a lab to do her stem cell research, a 14-year-old. That was a big risk. Stem cells are pretty precious, and to let a 14-year-old in to work on them was amazing. So a lot of people went to bat to nurture these kids. But there are other children out there like these young people that need to be nurtured and given an opportunity to excel. And I hope everyone in this room, now that you see what these kids can do, will go and be open to nurturing bright young people at all ages everywhere and supporting them and encouraging them, because we've got a lot of talent in this country and we need to develop it. I'd also like to extend a big thank you to many people who put this on for us. James Rice in Senator Grassley's office, who's here this evening. John Fossum in Senator Reed's office, who's here this evening, worked very closely with our staff to make this happen. Precision Meeting and Events, Widmeyer Communications, worked very closely to make this day happen with our team in Reno at the Davidson Institute. So thank you very much. And of course, I happen to feel that we have one of the best, tremendous teams in the Davidson Institute, headed by Marie Capurro, our director, Julie Dudley, our manager of the Davidson Fellows event, and our communications manager as well, Jill Adrian, Melissa Lance, and our volunteer par excellence, Sheila Capurro. Sheila comes all the way from Reno to volunteer for us every year. Thank you all for your commitment and your helping us recognize and support our nation's brightest youth. They deserve our support, and I know that everyone that was honored this evening will give back in many ways of their talents. And thank you, young Davidson Fellows, for spending your day with me today. There's more. Bob?
You know, the Davidson Institute is built on the belief that individuals who have extraordinary intelligence, talents, when encouraged and supported, as Jan said, can improve the quality of life for everyone. And having listened to the work of the 2004 Davidson Fellows, I don't think there's any doubt that these young people, through their professional careers, will make contributions that help everybody. We're going to be listening to their music, reading their literature, and benefiting from their scientific and math achievements for a long, long time. This is why we will continue to seek out and celebrate success stories like these of these 2004 fellows. They have so much to offer when the nation has so much at stake. Thank you again for sharing this evening with us and helping us celebrate the success of the 2004 Davidson Fellows. Good night.